friends, welcome to another Automotive Wednesday. The other day Mrs. DIY was driving our CC and the engine oil light came, which is it looks like an oil can dispenser, and it just gives you a warning on the oil. Now, keep in mind that only relates to pressure. There is no way for the system to tell you how much oil you have in it. This statement is true for most cars. However, in the CC, it tells you both oil and level, as it does in some other German cars. So that was an oil pressure warning, that the oil pressure was low. So the first thing you need to check is the level of your oil. So you find your dipstick. And of course, VW, you made it hard for us because it's dark oil on the black dipstick, but you can see it there. It is on the low range. This is the low. This is the max. So this indentation is the acceptable range, right? Does it make sense?
Yeah, I'm just trying to bring it into focus for everybody. Could you stop moving it though? Okay.
So now we're going to wipe it with a cloth. And again, this is confirmation. As you can see, we have oil there. And at this stage, we're going to do it one more time to ensure that what we were reading was correct, which should be because the car has not been driven, and we can see it's the same spot, right? Now it's a little hard to see, but
so the oil is down here. You can see it's shiny, and then the dipstick, even though it's black, it's not the same kind of shiny, but the oil should be up in here, right?
no, on the
Oh, here. Yeah. Okay, so we've got oil to here, but it should be up to there.
So it is not bad. In other words, we have not run out of oil completely, but it's on the low normal.
But it's definitely lower than it should be.
Right. And possibly when you drive it, if you go on an incline or something, it can trigger the pressure because you will not have enough. So our next step will be, we're going to put the dipstick back in, and I have 2 quarts of oil appropriate for this car.
Not sponsored, but this is what you've purchased to add some oil.
Right.
And because this is a VW, it takes very specific oil.
Correct, and this is not the normal oil I'll put, but I will do an oil change afterwards. This is enough to drive it a few hundred miles.
To get it where you need it.
Right, and make sure that there's no other issues. Oil pressure issues can be intermittent, so do not feel secure that you fix the problem without testing. So for virtually every car, your fill-in will be on the top of the engine somewhere, right? And this is the engine. It doesn't look like an engine because it's a plastic cover, but it will always look like that, and it will have that sign, that symbol, which is the symbol that you also saw, right, Mrs. DIY?
Yep.
But it was red, not amber.
It was red.
Now this can be red or it can be amber. Based on your car, those two mean different things. For us, the red means low oil pressure.
Okay.
So we're going to empty the 1 quart there and check the oil again. In all warning signs in cars, red is more serious than amber. You can take it, you can reverse it fully. And the steady light is less serious than a flashing. So now we're putting the oil directly in the engine. And now it will be even harder to see because this oil is very clean. So it will make it even lighter color. Okay. Let's see if that was enough. And I think it was. You see where it is now? It's very, very close to the top. We don't need another quart.
Yep, we can see the shiny.
Okay.
It's a little bit hard to see because the camera wants to focus everywhere else, but definitely we can see it.
So now I'm going to clean it again and put the dipstick back in. Now here's the interesting thing. This car has another couple of months until its oil change is due. So according to VW, this is an acceptable oil loss. I already looked and I see no oil leaks anywhere. There is no oil leak on the ground. Because one of the things you want to do when you troubleshoot is find out why you lost oil all of a sudden, right? In this car, we have never had this issue, right? We've never had low oil indication. And in Elpida's car, every now and then she does, but it's very random, right? Sometimes you lose oil and sometimes you go months without.
Yeah, but
losing
in my
any oil.
car there is a known issue with the Subaru PCV valve.
Well, all cars have that known issue.
I know, but this is apparently more known.
All right, so now that we know that we're not going to starve the engine from oil, we're going to start it and listen for any weird sounds, anything that doesn't sound correct, right? Okay, in this car the oil filter is here, and we see no leaks. And the oil pressure control valve is here, which is an area that we might leak. And you know it is the oil pressure control valve because it is going into the oil system and has an electrical connection, right? But we see no leaks, no evident leaks. Well, we're going to reset the light using our OBD2.
So for this VWCC, the plug-in for the OBD reader is just here. This is the driver's side door. You can see the gas and the brake pedal, and it's just underneath the dash. A little bit tucked away, but that's where it is.
The simple OBD uses machines we have a little more complex. It recognizes this is a VW. It did an auto scan because sometimes there are manufacturer specific codes along with the other engine codes, right?
Okay.
So let me see. I haven't really used this a lot, and I'm not sure how to clear the code. I'm going to look at live data. Not every OBD will have live data. You see, it's reading all the modules now, and I'm just waiting to see if I will see anything strange there. It is important to know how your engine sounds under normal conditions for troubleshooting purposes. And it brings a list of activities, right? You can see this is live. You see how this is changing? So this is an example of another OBD scanner. This is the Harbor Freight variety, and it's about $39. It's not very expensive, and it's worth having in your car. And on this, I will try to erase our codes. We have an engine code there.
Sorry for the bad camera work, but there's an engine code.
Keep the codes in your scanner and in your car if you take your car into a mechanic, as they are invaluable diagnostic tools that could save you money if you have an honest mechanic. So most OBD readers will have an erase code function. I cannot see now. Can you see?
Yep.
So highlight erase codes and hit OK. Now I will tell you, it will give you an opportunity not to erase them. In our case, what I usually do is take pictures of the code so I don't forget them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're sure we want to erase them, and it would tell you if it needs something else. And if you see the engine is off, the engine light is off.
Uh-huh.
So it erased the code. Now why you do this? You do this because you want to see if the codes return. Sometimes the code is a one-time thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it will not return, and then you don't need to worry much about it, right?
Right.
Never ignore codes, trouble codes that your car gives you, right? That is an opportunity for disaster. And if a code is repeatedly returning and you cannot troubleshoot why, then you need to troubleshoot, and if you cannot, take it to a mechanic, right? Again, we are a DIY channel, but in all honesty, there are times that it is beyond our skill level. Most often than not, it is within our skill level, right? We've done a lot of things. We've changed compressors, we've done all kinds of things, but sometimes, for example, the error code I was getting here was an ECU error code that I don't know, I don't have equipment to troubleshoot, right? So if it returns, I will take it to the mechanic, but the car rides fine. There are no strange noises. It's not starving for oil. The oil light didn't come on, which means our oil pressure is good. So then you just erase your codes and you wait and see what happens, right? Again, you can buy OBD readers even for $19, and that a lot of times can save you a lot of money. For example, the code in your engine code can come in because your tank lid,
Your gas cap.
your gas cap is not fully seated.
Right.
That's something you can easily fix yourself. You don't need to pay someone $110 to tell you, oh, you need to tighten this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are variable machines, and I've seen them in Walmart for $19, so they're not very expensive. Well, folks, we hope you enjoyed this short episode on our Wednesday Quickie Automotive series, and if you did, we'd appreciate a thumbs up. If you didn't, the other button works as well. Share, like, subscribe. Let us know if those automotive series videos help you in your automotive repairs and maintenance. From Professor DIY, Mrs. DIY, and Elpida, let's fix something together.